Yo, what's good, everybody? This is kind of a continuation of last week's episode of me ranting, a Miami Heat fan ranting about this season. I got some more statistics after I finished recording, so I wanted to speak on it in a way. This probably won't be as long because I don't have as much to talk about, but if we look here, right? One thing about the NBA the NBA statistics, because there's a lot of advanced statistics, and the only one that I see that actually is relevant most of the time is plus or minus. When we go through these, there's some that's kind of surprising and there's some that's not. And it's kind of going to add on to what I was saying before about what to do with these players and who to move on from, right? So we have Kyle Lowry. He's a -2, which isn't horrible, right? He plays 36.6 minutes per game. It's a given that he's going to have a -2 with that many minutes. 14.4 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, 6 assists per game, 1.4 steals per game, 39, 33, 84. Not horrible, especially for a 37-year-old. So I'm not expecting too much, but I'll get into him a little bit later. With Tyler, surprisingly, he's a +8. When I watch the games, he turns the ball over a lot in terms of trying to make a certain pass, which I don't mind, right? But some of them are just like, okay, you're stretching it, right? So 37.5 minutes per game, 21.5 points per game, 6.7 rebounds, 5.9 assists, 1.1 steals, 43, 38, 89. Not horrible again, but we can see the trend in the three-point, right? He has 38, which isn't horrible. We go back, if we can go back. I don't know if I can go back to... Okay, here we go. Kyle Lowry has a 33.8 percentage, right? Which isn't bad. Now, we go to Jimmy Butler. It's a given that he's going to have a +16. He's Jimmy, right? Also, he's had less games in the sample to really kind of leeway it like Kyle. Kyle has played almost every game this season. The only reason why he missed out on a recent one, if I'm not mistaken, it was against the Pistons, was because he literally had played every single game about 35 minutes per game. That's exhausting. Especially for an 82-game season. It's not fun on the body, even though he is fit this year, unlike last year. But Jimmy has 35.2 minutes per game, 22.2 points per game, 6.9 rebounds, 6.6 assists, 1.7 steals, 55, 33, 86. The three-pointer is way better than it's ever been in terms of being with us. He usually has a horrible three-pointer until he gets to the playoffs. But during the regular season, he's not a reliable three-point shooter. Now he's decent, right? He shoots 55% from the field. He takes some contested layups. So it's also something else that kind of expecting it. 86% from the free throw line. He tends to just not care as much about the earlier ones. But then in the clutch time, I think he shoots 95 in clutch time. But then we get to the next one. Caleb Martin, the supposed replacement of PJ Tucker, right? 35.3 minutes per game, 14.2 points, 4.9 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 1.2 steals, 51, 44, 72. Not the greatest free throw percentage, but the other things are fantastic, right? And a +4 in the last 10 games. He has been good in that power forward position, but we see the times that he's struggling, right? When he gets hot, Caleb Martin gets hot. So with him, it's always wishy-washy. With PJ, you could rely on the fact that his defense was going to be stellar. Fantastic. His rebounding, always going to be there. Now, his shooting, can never rely on that. With Caleb, it's more on the side of he can attack. His defense tends to show up later in the games, sometimes when it doesn't even matter anymore. And his rebounding is all right. As you can see, he has 4.9 rebounds per game as the power forward. Now, we have Bam Adebayo. 35.8 minutes per game, 23.2 points, 9.7 rebounds, almost a double-double in averages, 3.3 assists, 0.6 steal per game, and block per game. 53, 20, and 80. Now, I understand Bam is trying to get his whole three-point shot into the game kind of like slowly but surely. We saw a lot of it in the preseason, and he was making it. He was making it in the preseason, but when the regular season came, he made it in the first game. He didn't shoot it for a while. He shoots another one, missed it. I haven't literally been on a play-by-play about it, but I know that he hasn't shot it tremendously. I think he's like 1 for 5, and that's why he's 20%. He has an 80.4 free throw. Now, for Bam, the reason why I say it like that is because I expect Bam to have a better free throw because he's supposed to be the reliable free throw shooter. Also alongside Jimmy, which he is. Bam is great in crunch time, but when it gets to the regular game, it's the same pattern. We tend to not care during the first 3 quarters, right? Actually, the third quarter specifically. The third quarter is when we don't care. Because we go the first and the second. We get a huge lead. We're doing fantastic. Then we come out in the third and shit the bed. And it just completely messes up the whole flow. There's no momentum. There's no shooting. There's no anything at all. Right? Now, Gabe Vincent. Every Miami Heat fan basically loves Gabe Vincent at this point. But of course they're not seeing this. He has a negative 28 or a minus 28 in 10 games. And he's supposed to be the spark off the bench. He looks like he's only like the shitter off the bench. He's 10.3 points per game, 1.9 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 40, 31, and 90. His free throw is going to be there. Everything else has dropped off. And this is his contract year. He hasn't gotten a new contract yet. And he's playing like this. Now, we would probably sign him, but for less than what he was valued at last year. Last year, he was a fantastic bench option and a viable starter if somebody went down like Kyle Lowry. Another person like that is Max Strus. He is shooting like he is Duncan Robinson now. He shoots 30.9 from the 3, and he has a minus 62 in 10 games. That is not good at all. That is why he is riding the bench alongside Duncan. And this is where our weaknesses come in. Because once we don't have our 2 3-point shooters, we don't have a 3-point game. That's the whole thing about the Heat. Before, we would have Duncan in the bubble, specifically. In the bubble, we had Duncan and Tyler Hero. They would be shooting the ball from the 3, lights out. That would open the court for Bam to drive in. That would open the court for Goran to drive in and pass it to Bam if he needed to. That would open the court for Jimmy to just go up with it. But now, and Jay Crowder to shoot the ball from wherever he was open. But now, our 3-point shooters aren't shooting the 3 well. 30.9% from the field. That is not good for a literal spot-up shooter. Now, he drives sometimes, but you can see he has a 35.3% from the field. That's not good at all. That's not good at all. And he plays 30.8 minutes per game. He started off the season as a starter. I don't know how long he's been I don't know if he's still a starter sometimes. The starting lineup changes so much for the Miami Heat that like I kind of lose track sometimes. Dwayne Dedmon, the mechanic. I love his energy when he's hot, right? When he's not, he makes reckless fouls. And as you can see, he has a minus 35. I love Dwayne Dedmon as a player in terms of his energy. Everything else, he fouls out way too quick. He gets his first 2 fouls in a matter of a minute 30, giving Bam no time to rest. And then he does stuff like this. 14% from the 3. I understand that he can shoot the 3 ball just a little bit. But when you're open at the top of the key and there's still 14 seconds left on the shot clock, do not shoot the damn ball. That's what gets us behind. Because at those points, we're up by 7. Then the other team goes down the court and makes a 3. Now they're only down by 4. Then Dwayne Dedmon gets an offensive foul. They had the ball again. They get a layup. They're down by 2. I've seen this over and over and over again. This is not something that I'm making up. It's not. Duncan Robinson, minus 57 in 10 games that he has played. And he's shooting 23% from the 3-point line. You are supposed to be the shooter. You're getting paid $18 million a year to be a bench warmer. Because you can't shoot the ball. You are a liability most of the time. You used to have the whole spotty, like maybe you would go cold for like 5 games. You would come back, have a hot 15, then go back to the whole 5 games thing. You have 1 in 20. 1 hot game in 20. And then you question why. You question why you're in trade rumors. You say that it's a distraction. Then play better. Do not complain about it. You see Tyler. You see Tyler Hero. He is getting 30-something points now. Not caring about the trade rumors or anything, because that's a given. We are the Miami Heat. We won. We're the freaking Miami Heat. We're always going to be in trade rumors. We are not the Utah Jazz. If you don't want to be in trade rumors, go to another fucking team. I'm highly passionate about this guy because I like him as a person, right? But as a player, he is not doing anything for the Heat. And it's a liability every single time he's on the floor. If he's not shooting the ball well, he tries to drive in, gets an offensive foul. If he is playing defense, he gets a foul, he complains about it. He's like, no, I had my hands up. He had one hand up. You're supposed to have both. You're on one of the most defensively respected teams in the league. You are trained this. Anyways, Haywood Highsmith. He is a minus 30, which is very interesting to me. Because I see a lot of sparks with him. But I can also understand why he has a minus 30. The reason why is because he shoots some shots that are just like, I guess we'll live with that just because you got that stop at the other end just now. Oh, you're going to dribble the ball out even though you're not going to shoot it? Like, dribbling the ball out meaning he goes in, tries to see if somebody cuts in. He dribbles back to the 3-point line, facing away from the basket, waiting for somebody to come up so he can set the screen or something. Nobody does anything because he's not calling anything. And clearly, I guess Spo wasn't either. And then that turns into shot clock violations, minus 30. in 10 games. Also, in those 10 games, we haven't been playing well. 24.2 minutes per game, 4.7 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, zero point 0.8 assists. I think if anybody's going to make a replacement for PJ Tucker, if we really wanted to run the lineup that we had with PJ Tucker, it would have to be a lineup of Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, Caleb Martin, Haywood Highsmith, and Bam. Then the bench would be Gabe Vincent, Tyler Hero, Tyler Hero, Victor Oladipo, Max Strus, and probably Nikola Jovic because Omer is injured for God knows how long. I don't know how the fuck that just randomly happened, but he got injured on his ankle. Now he's probably going to be out until the end of the season. The people that were not on the list are Victor Oladipo. He hasn't played 10 games. UD, old, so he has an excuse. Yeah. Omer hasn't played in 10 games. I don't think he's even played in one. Jamal Cain also hasn't played in 10 games. He's had like 3 maybe. Drew Smith hasn't played 10 games. And Nikola Jovic with a period because Spo doesn't play him for whatever reason. The whole Miami Heat fan base wants Nikola Jovic to play. So do I, because I want him to build his value up so we can pack his ass up. If he turns into the next Nikola Jokic, the Joker, I'll be happy with that. He can play the power forward. But what are we going to do with Bam? Is he just going to stick at the center position his entire career? We're going to continuously never make it to the finals now. We made it to the finals in the bubble because we were hot. We were on fire. Specifically, Jimmy Butler. Where our defense, impeccable. Could not be touched. The wall against Giannis, they couldn't do anything about it because Chris Middleton was not performing well at all. They did not have Drew Holiday, and Brook Lopez, I think, was like in and out with the injuries. Nikola Jovic, if any time is the time to test him, it's now. Because we're losing. We are the 10th seed, Eric Spoelstra. I love your work, but you're not doing it this year. You're not doing the same thing. There's something different that's going on. There had to be a disagreement in the front office that you guys are just butting heads right now because we haven't heard a single thing from Pat. And you say, oh, the reason why I think it was somebody else that got benched. I think it was Strus, maybe, that got benched. And he said it was a coach's decision or something. That's very cryptic for Eric Spoelstra. He's very open about his whole thing and being like, "Oh yeah, I'll take the thing for that coach's decision." After missing his first 2 shots against the Clippers on Thursday, Jimmy Butler has shot 21 of 26 from the field since. That is 81% from the field. Pretty much shows where the Heat are right now. We're relying on Jimmy Butler to take us 82 games and win. He's supposed to be doing that in the playoffs where it's expected, not in the 82 games. This is supposed to be when the team is getting used to each other, team chemistry, all of that good stuff, right? Not in the regular season. Is Jimmy Butler supposed to be doing this? Kyle Kuzma wants out of DC. He's looking for over $20 million a year and in a big market or with a contender. Now, I wouldn't mind Kyle Kuzma, but we don't need him. We don't need the $20 million contract. Like, if we're getting him, we're packing up Duncan. That's without a doubt in my mind. If we're packing up Duncan, then they're probably going to want Nikola Jovic with him. And probably a first-round pick, too, for Kyle Kuzma. Now, it wouldn't be a horrible trade, but they would be having to give something back, too. This cannot just be a Kyle Kuzma for 3 assets, right? New York's asking price for Cam Reddish appears to be a second-round pick or a player on a rookie contract with a different skill set. I was a fan of Cam Reddish coming out of college. I respected that he took the whole, I want to win a college championship, so I'm going to go to Duke and play with RJ Barrett and Zion Williamson. That did not end up working out because Zion popped his foot through his shoe and it injured him, and they couldn't do anything. I'm just not sure about Cam Reddish. I'm sure that we can probably get his potential to show, but I don't know. Orlando Magic expected to shop Terrence Ross, Gary Harris, and Mo Bamba. If Mo Bamba gets shopped, we should get him. All we need is a rebounder. He is literally tall as fuck. Put Bam at the 4. Pat, you need to stop being stingy. The Miami Heat have signed Orlando Robinson to a 2-way contract and have waived Drew Smith. I never really believed in Drew Smith. I never really understood how he was on the team, to be honest with you. I never saw anything like crazy about him. Orlando Robinson has had his moments, but he also had his moment that he fucked up the whole game at the end of one game. So his last doesn't really matter to me because NBA. Hopefully this pain will drive us to a higher level. We need to get to a higher level. We need to get to a better level collectively. That's what I'm hoping. Coach Spo. Your substitutions are questionable sometimes. I mean, damn. NBA Insider expects Heat to show interest in Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., and OG Anunoby. All those players are great. Especially people like Gary Trent, that three-point shooter. Please. Pascal, though? I wouldn't mind Pascal. Pascal in a Heat jersey. No, but like, genuinely, I wouldn't mind it. Because Pascal's a great player. I don't know. Are they like, do they have a losing record right now or something? The Heat are 2-9 on the season when Tyler Hero scores 20-plus points. The Miami Heat are 7-1 when Tyler Hero scores less than 20 points. That's what I'm saying. That's why I kind of look at his points per game, and I'm like, yeah, it's not, like, insane to me. Because every time we lose, he has an insane game. Every time we lose. It's a given. But then when he doesn't, like, I mean, doesn't play well. When the rest of the team actually plays well, and it's not just him shooting the ball a million times, and he gets less than 20 points, we win. We're 7-1 when he scores less than 20 points. It's just it all connects. It all connects. I think we just get so caught up if we're making or missing shots, or even if you're touching the ball as many times as you want to touch it. I just think we got to get back to not worrying about offense, taking care of the defensive end. Jimmy is always saying what is like basically right. He's not wrong at all. Let me see something. The Raptors aren't doing bad. I mean, they're the 9th seed, probably lower than they expected to be because these 3 teams right here, the Toronto Raptors, the Miami Heat, and the Chicago Bulls, were expecting to be up here. The teams that are in are Indiana, Atlanta, and New York Knicks. Why? There's no reason. Well, they win more games, but they have some like miraculous crap that happens all the time. Oh, but to get into specific people, right? I'm not going to try to go into a whole trade machine thing or whatever. I'm not going to be weird about that, right? But just a few quick trade scenarios or even just trade block people. I've always loved Kyle Lowry. But he is old as fuck. I never understood why we gave him $30 million a year, especially for 3. We were setting ourselves up for failure, right? So a package that we would probably have to put together is Kyle Lowry. We could have, first of all, capitalized on the whole Kyrie Irving situation because he was like at an all-time low in value in terms of in the eyes of the Nets. And we could have just traded Kyle Lowry and Duncan Robinson and maybe like a first in like 2 years for Kyrie Irving. Can we realize that? Kyrie is a great player. He could be an MVP candidate if he gets the touches. Like, so it would be Kyle, Duncan, and Nikola Jovic is going to be there regardless. Just because he's a rookie. He was a bright spot. Everybody decided to pass up on him. And because the Miami Heat got him, they want him because they think that the Miami Heat have this like voodoo magic of finding diamonds in the rough, which we usually do, right? It just seems not to be a thing anymore. But, yeah. That's going to be it of this one. Trying to keep it in the 20 minutes area. So, with that being said, if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.